It's actually the human state to be flawed and to sometimes take things to extreme and to take things out of context or to not remain balanced. And it doesn't matter whether you are in the New Age movement or you are a Christian, you have the capability, you're susceptible to taking things too far.
Come in and leave, come in and leave again. It's up to you, you have the pen.
Hi people, it's your girl Karina. Welcome to my channel if you've never heard of me before. I wanted to have my own comment about the New Age to Jesus trend that has been happening on YouTube, and I wanted to give my take. And I think that if you've never heard of me before, okay, I call my channel Eye of Karina because it's about seeing things through my own eyes, in which I understand that what I say does not apply to all people. You'd be surprised that I actually agree with a lot of the Christian movement. I think that as much as there might be a lot of astrologers out there that deny Christianity, if you really understand the workings of astrology, you'll see that they're not separate. I wanted to give my little take on an astrologer's perspective of the New Age to Jesus movement. You know, I was going through a phase where I was smoking a lot of weed, and it was my way of, you know, coping with my own inner issues, right? And this is also the time where I got into astrology very heavy. I had a little bit of a mental crisis, and I kind of had a little breakdown. And for a minute there, I actually did start hearing some voices for a little point in my journey. And this actually runs in my family. So this was a situation for me where I was dealing with my own mental health. Well, let's just fast forward and say that I am clean of smoking weed and have gone through that phase now, right? The biggest thing about that phase was that even after it, I still turned to astrology. I still utilize astrology. And being the type of person that actually came from a Christian home, I also came back to Christianity and discovered that the New Age movement can be just as traumatizing, just as unhealthy as under a strict doctrine of Christianity, okay? It's actually the human state to be flawed and to sometimes take things to extreme and to take things out of context or to not remain balanced. And it doesn't matter whether you are in the New Age movement or you are a Christian, you have the capability, you're susceptible to taking things too far. For me, it was being detached. For me, it was looking down on, people who are part of all of the religions, right? I had a phase where I thought all of them are wrong, and I looked down on them and, criticized my own family for it. I also had a lot of mental instability, like I told you guys. So it went very far for me. There were places that I went that were unhealthy, and I had to come back to a sense of balance as a New Ager, okay? Now, I was a Christian too. Before I discovered astrology, growing up, I was a Christian, and what allowed for me to take things too far as a Christian was judging people for all of the sins that I would say that they were making, and still actually kind of being on my high horse about people just being, not godly, and people doing sinful acts, and me trying to stay almost in a place of purity. And while my Christian life actually helped me in a lot of ways to stay connected to God, it also detached me still from being connected to other people and from acting as God would, which is out of love rather than out of judgment. Our humanity and our flaws, are the parts of us that are just, cynical, the parts of us that take things to the extreme. That is where these belief systems and doctrines can go wrong and be taken against your overall goal. in the New Age system is to bring yourself into this higher state, this higher sense of living, right? Spiritual, soulful living. And I think it's the same thing with Christianity, to bring yourself to this place of being one with spirit, one with God. And the both systems are, the both ideas, the both communities are about creating a relationship with the mystery of death, right? And who we are beyond the physical body, who we are beyond life itself. And for that reason, they both serve, they serve goodness to different types of people. But my biggest thing is to address the trend of New Age to Jesus, because it's starting to become this idea that the New Agers are wrong. And I've already showed you how it can go wrong, or it can go very wrong. But I think that the biggest thing that I have learned on my journey is that they're all the same and everything is integrated. And while certain belief sets might not be able to see that, astrology is definitely connected to Christianity on various levels. And they're both centered around, especially Western astrology, is centered around the sun. And if you really understand the esoteric metaphysics of astrology, you would see that it is also Christianity. It is Christ worship, and Christ worship and Christianity is also speaking about how it is that we are connected to the sun. If you've been a follower of my channel, then you'll know that I've already started going in this direction and how I see it and what it is that I share on my channel. But if you're new here, then I encourage you to allow your mind to integrate rather than making one system wrong over the other, because this is where we continuously create spiritual wars rather than ending a cycle of spiritual wars, which we've had in humanity for such a long time, and start to actually bring ourselves into a realm where we can all coexist together because we see ourselves in one another.